This is Dennis from Refused. We got a new record called War Music coming out. Right now you're watching Loud TV. Revolution! It's words that for punk are quite forbidden. But I mean, it definitely has a propulsion to it. It moves forward the whole time. Yeah, maybe it's not. I mean, when I think of funky, I think of like P-Funk or Parliament, and it's not really. It has more of a steady flow to it, I think. You know, when you write music, and especially. I think we early on knew that we're gonna make quite an aggressive record, a very like succinct to the point record. But then one of the things, if every song is like Turn the Cross or Economy of Death, then those songs will not, be as powerful. So I think it's a very dynamic record. It has a lot of changes in it, and. Which I think is great. I think the whole record is it's a good piece of art.
And sometimes dancing.
Yeah, I love dancing. I mean, for me, it's perfect because I love to dance. So if we can make songs are violent and aggressive but still dancey, that's a good combination. I love to move on stage, and it's pretty great when we can get that beat into it that you can dance to. Yeah. Chris and David writes the music. They're like the brains behind the riffs and the arrangements. So usually it's them having a lot of ideas and coming up with like a lot of riffs and demos, and then the rest of us get involved, and I do my vocal lines, and then me and David write the lyrics together. So it's a very it was a long process. It was a lot of rewriting because you want it to be as efficient and as powerful as possible. So there was a lot of times where I did vocals. I went home because I don't live in Stockholm, so I went home, and then David calls me like 2 weeks later. He's like, that chorus, I changed it. I'm like, no. He's like, you have to come down and do vocals again. So a lot of that. But I mean, at the end, like the process of getting to where we need to be is just a process. The end result I think is all that matters. And I think the end result is great. But yeah. I think David and Chris are perfectionists for sure. I'm a bit more of the punk in the band. I'm more of like, I think we're done, but they're very much perfectionist, which is great because then it enables you to have liberties in what you're doing, because you know that someone will be at the end kind of like sorting everything and making sure it's as perfect as it can get. So yeah, they're very much perfectionists. Compared to the last record, it's a very like DIY process. It's very much like, we get into the studio and do this ourselves, and it's been an interesting journey. Yeah, I think Chris that plays guitar, I mean, he's one of the producers of the record, so he spent a lot of times on the guitars, but they sound great. So it's like I can't really complain because at the end of the day, like it sounds fantastic, and I think he experimented a lot with sounds before. When you write music, like sometimes it takes you a while to find the sounds that you want. So I think it took him a while to find like fine tune and like this is what I want. This is what I want the record to sound like. But then, I mean, if you have a foundation that you feel comfortable with, you can experiment. I think that's a good thing. Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, I think it is. I don't think we set out to make a concept album, but I think at the end it kind of turned into a concept album because everything that we're singing about, everything that that the whole record is rooted in very specific ideas. And then to have the quotes on the record, it's just a way to enhance these ideas and enhance the lyrics that we're writing for the record. But yeah, it's kind of a concept album about post-capitalism 2019 and what it means and how it affects the world and how we see the world, around us. But it's a different economy because now with Wikipedia and Facebook and Instagram, you have all the knowledge in the world at your fingertips, but there's no depth in what you're learning. A lot of people spend their, they formulate their political opinions on like Twitter or Instagram or YouTube, So there's no real depth and no real ideology to what people are saying. And yeah, education is a huge problem. A lot of people don't read books. People don't really take the time because it's a world that goes by so fast that people don't take the time to sit down and be like, what does this mean? How does this feel? And even with music and culture and arts, I mean, the way we consume music is like, we consume it on Spotify, and there's this, I don't know what it's called, but people only listen to Spotify for songs for a certain amount of seconds before they pick the next song. So it's like a whole cultural thing where we need to relearn how to educate ourselves, and we need to relearn how to have patience and understanding of greater works of art, and also deeper understanding of ideology and deeper understanding of the culture complexities that we see surround us. A lot of the things that happen now is with the rise of the right wing and the rise of fascism is people looking for easy solutions to very difficult problems. And that's also why we wanted to include these quotes on the record so that people can see it's like there's depth to it, there's meaning to it, and we really, it's when you're a band like us, we take a lot of flack because people are, we say a lot of stuff that's uncomfortable, so people don't like it. But and when, like one of the things people can be like, you are against capitalism, but you sell records. And you're like, oh no, we never thought of that. Like now we have to break up our band, But we think about these things every day. We think about like all the decisions that we make and how we can get our ideas across, how we can get our music out there. Life in the capitalist world is compromise. All the time you have to compromise on your ideas, you have to compromise on what you want to do and how you want to do it. And that's a part of living in capitalism, and that's a part of this world, and you need to sort of educate yourself, and we try all the time to learn more and be better people and read more and think more. Fascism is the logical conclusion to capitalism, which I do believe to a certain extent. I do believe it's true because I think that fascism can take on many shapes. It's not just Mussolini or Hitler or Franco or whatever, but I think it can take on a lot of shapes. I think we can have a society perceived as democratic and perceived as like, oh, we live in a democratic society, but we have no economic democracy. We have no right to decide over our economy, over our money, over our jobs, basically. And if we don't have that right, we have no democracy. So I think we can live in almost a fascist state of existence, while we can still sort of call it a democracy. And I do think that's a logical extension of the driving forces of capitalism. Capitalism has no center, it has no moral, it has no conscience. It's just like an economical system set up to benefit a few people. And that's the whole system. It's set up to benefit a few people and control the rest and use the rest. Capitalism is when you make money off of other people's labor. and most of us don't make money off other people's labor. We are the laborers, you know. I mean, even as a band, I mean, the record company in that sense would be the capitalist. We are the workers, the proletariat, if you so will. So I mean, there's all these facets to what capitalism does to us, and I think that it's important, and I think that fascism could be the logical conclusion of all of this, you know. We have an economical dictatorship at the end, you know.
Brother, be out blind! Brother, be out blind!
Two and 3 weeks European tour, yeah.
And then after, other continents?
Yeah, we're doing Scandinavia, and then we're doing America. I mean, it's, you know, it is like you put out a record, then you do the thing, you know. So we're gonna start doing the thing soon, you know. I love to tour. The band doesn't like to tour. I like to tour. We're fine with touring, but I'm definitely the one guy that tours the most. I mean, I have another band that we tour as much as Refused, maybe even more than Refused. So I love to tour. It opens your mind, it opens your heart, makes you see the world, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing to be able to be on stage. I think I'm my best behavior when I'm on stage.